We are now to the section on coaching the team. And the first part of this will be the sales meeting. So when you think about coaching as it relates to sports, most of you out there only know this is the part of coaching. This is the only part you actually get to see. You don't get to attend most sports teams' practices to see how the coach reacts there and how they coach their players one-on-one or their athletes one-on-one, how they coach the team in a closed setting. This is more like game time, and this is the type of coaching that you are probably the most familiar with. And so we're going to talk about what it takes to be ready for the sales meeting. Most of it, spoiler alert, has to do with preparation. So by the end of this lesson, you will understand the cost of every time you have a meeting, especially with the team that's in the room with you for your sales meeting. You will be more prepared by the end of this session, and you will learn how to be more efficient with the time without rushing. So what does a team hour cost you? So I think it's important that you take the time to do this calculation. Look at everybody in the room that's at your sales meeting, and you should know most of the salaries that are in there, or you can make a very good guess at most of the salaries for the people that are not on your team. If you have sales support people that sit in on a sales meeting, calculate the total annual salary of everybody in the room and just calculate that including yours, because your hour is taken if we're talking about an hour with the team. So we want to take this total in salaries and divide by 2080. That's a figure that we come to by using 52 weeks per year, and then because it's an annualized salary, and then 40 hours per week, just for rough numbers. Just so you know, for every $1 million in the room in salaries, it's about $480 per hour of real costs that are going out the door. So that's the value you need to tie to your meeting. Is your meeting in an hour producing roughly $500 if there's $1 million of salary in the room? Are you producing $500 worth of value to your team and what you're sharing? In most cases, the answer will be yes, but it's important that you understand what it's costing for every time you go all the way to the hour rather than releasing some of the people early. This gives you your cost per hour going forward, and now you know every hour that somebody's in that room, that this group is in the room with you, that's what it's costing your company. So are you creating value at that meeting? So the first step is to be prepared. There's nothing that drives me crazier than a manager that shows up with no agenda, hasn't prepared, isn't prepared for some of the most basic questions of the information they're covering. There's some of this meeting that will be you being the newscaster of here's company information that has been asked of you to present to the team. Here's what's going on in the company. Here's somebody's coming to visit. There's a contest getting ready to roll out. Here's a big press release that just came out that everybody needs to be aware of. You need to be familiar enough that you're asking yourself, what are some common questions that my team's going to ask about this? And if I don't know the answers, I would prepare on Sunday night. If I don't know the answers, first thing Monday morning, I'm getting those questions out to the people, maybe marketing, maybe upper management. Hey, I think these questions may be asked. How do you want me to answer them? Or what are the answers to these questions? And that will allow you to be better prepared for what's coming to you from your team. Every Sunday night, I would take, on average, an hour and a half, closer to 2 hours to prepare for my Monday morning sales meeting. I wanted to make sure that I was concise, I didn't ramble on, and that I was prepared for certain things that might set me off. There might be a negative question asked that I didn't like it, but if I was prepared for it, it was easier for me to just objectively handle it versus handling it with emotion. So the more preparation you put in, the better you'll be. Have you built an agenda? Do you know what you're going to talk about and what order you're going to talk about it? And is your agenda consistent? My team knew that we would come in and we would start at one level, we would go through, we would run through numbers last, there would be a dismissal of certain group members that didn't need to be there for the entire meeting. It was the same every week. That consistency of how the agenda would be handled was the same all the time. Have you rehearsed the questions that you might get asked and the answers you want to give? When I would rehearse, sometimes I would prattle on for 5 minutes and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm taking too long with this answer. Here's the answer that I need to give and be done, and I need to cut myself short. And if I had rehearsed this, I was going to be better prepared than if I just went into the meeting cold and just blah, 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 rambled on over something that could have been handled in a more concise manner. So get to the point in your agenda. Whatever agenda item you're on at the moment, get to the point of it. Don't rush. Don't try to shortcut the meeting and say, well, this meeting's costing $3,000. I need to cut it in half and make it a half-hour meeting and make it a $1,500 meeting. Your team will appreciate it when you can cut it short, but don't cut it short at the expense of leaving out information that could be valuable to the team. You're getting together for a reason. Spend the time with them that's necessary. The agenda should be able to dismiss the non-relevant personnel when it's time. So if you've got a structure to your agenda, there should be a point where if you've got people in the meeting that don't need to hear certain pieces, maybe there's a contest you're rolling out that only applies to sales, dismiss the sales support staff that doesn't need to be there to hear it. Allow them to go do better things with their time while you spend time talking to the team about the contest that's rolling out. That's as an example. Use this meeting to beat the drum, remind the team of the goal. Every single time you're together, sales meeting, sales training, anytime you're in a group setting with the team, remind them of the goal. So in conclusion, you need to know the cost of your meetings, all of your meetings. Anytime you're taking an hour with your team, what is that costing? The people in the room have a cost associated with them, and you need to try to match that value the best you can. Be prepared and be efficient. The better you can do in shortening the meeting without shortening the content allows them to get back to work, and they'll appreciate that, hey, we don't need the full hour. I've had managers who would take the full hour just because that was what was allotted, when they could have done it in 45 minutes and given us 15 minutes back of our day. Trust me, your team will appreciate having time to give back to them that they can go repurpose for better items.